After what may seem to be a long time, we are pleased to welcome back Paula Aschettino, founder and director of Homeowners Insurance Reform, who has a message for us all today, and let her get right to it.
Thank you, Paul. It's always a pleasure to be here and to speak to your listeners. I'm here today because the Fair Plan's recent rate hike, which was put in 2013 for about a 10% rate hike on the Cape and Islands and an average on the state of 7%, was recently in early June denied by the Division of Insurance and approved. The decision was approved by the Commissioner of Insurance.
Very good.
We are thrilled, and our Attorney General worked very hard on this. But this is the important part that I want to speak about. When the Fair Plan has a hearing, because it is fair plans are formed under a public legislation, there is a hearing process, which is not true for the private insurers. Mm-hmm. The private insuring companies giving homeowners insurance, when they go for a rate hike, it's called file and use. They file a filing with the rate increase to the Division of Insurance, and after 30 days, if that filing is not disapproved or denied by the Division of Insurance and Commissioner, the rates automatically go into effect. Now, this is where this is important, and it's important to all citizens. There was a lot of testimony in the Fair Plan, which has a hearing process. Our organization, Citizens for Homeowners Insurance Reform, testified. We did a great job, along with our Attorney General, and brought up issues that are in this decision, and the full decision can be read and picked up on the Massachusetts Division of Insurance website. And under updates, it's under capital R 2013-01. Wow. And you can read the 35-page decision, which I want to tell you is very eye-opening. And what it tells is the reasons why they denied the Fair Plan. And this is where it's important. The majority of the critique to the filing and the reason the decision was denied was the lack of the insurer, the Fair Plan, providing proof that the hurricane models that they use to predict possible losses to our homes in storm events were calculated for Massachusetts. This is huge, and also this is a practice that happens in the model, and I found this extremely concerning for all insurers who use hurricane models. Any hurricane that hits, say, the Gulf of Mexico and is a category whatever, say a category 3 hurricane that hits the Gulf of Mexico, the modeling companies take that hurricane and they factor the losses from that hurricane into Massachusetts, even if that hurricane never shows up here or, in fact, is only a tropical storm. Now, hurricane, under the understanding for rate filing in Massachusetts, means that winds are sustained winds are at hurricane strength at the time that it passes Massachusetts, hits land, or bypasses so close to our coast that the winds on land are of hurricane strength. Now, it's interesting as I speak today because here we are looking towards a potential, maybe a Category 1 hurricane this weekend. A hurricane Category 1 is from sustained winds at 74 miles an hour to 95 miles an hour.
Okay.
And the reason that these things are important is that hurricane models are used because they use these predicted storms, and of course if you have a very strong hurricane, then that is going to cause more damage potentially to our homes. Where this careful evaluation was done of this process through the Fair Plan, and it was denied the rates because it shows the models were not accurate and they have not been calibrated and studied for Massachusetts. Also, the vulnerability of our homes to wind have not been studied thoroughly. And there's these flaws. So what does that mean? It means that the frequency and intensities of potential storms are added into the potential losses, and the insurance companies, Fair Plan or any private insurer, then goes out and buys reinsurance. That's insurance to cover themselves in the event of a catastrophic event. The cost of reinsurance is passed down directly in our premiums. According to this 35-page filing, which I can't tell you, I urge anybody that's interested in this topic, it's so fascinating. You will love reading it, and you will be madder than a hatter. But I want to tell you that in the filing, it states that for the Cape and Islands, almost 50% of our premium is for the predictions of losses from hurricane events and the cost of reinsurance. That's a huge amount of our premium, so they better be darn accurate about what the potential losses are and not be inflating falsely these storm events and the intensities and losses, because this hits us in the pocketbook, all of us. Now, my point is, and I want to make sure I get this through, the private insurance companies, with their file and use method, feel that they do not have to hold to any regulatory process when they want free competition. It is bunk. There is Robert Hunter of the Consumer Federation of America, who is renowned in this country for his work with the government and testifying for behalf of the citizens. He said, and he wrote back to me an email this week, he said, that is bunk. There is a responsibility by statutes, not new laws, by the existing statutes that exist in Massachusetts, that the commissioner must be considering the same details that are in this filing as far as making sure by statute that rates are not excessive, inadequate, or unfairly discriminatory.
Now, did he approve what said here, or did he just pass this through? The Commissioner of Insurance.
The Commissioner of Insurance read the decision that was done by the hearing officers after months of testimony, expert cross-examination. It's just like a court case. It's a fascinating process. Very done. And our Attorney General and State Rating Bureau represents the consumers, as well as consumers like myself and others who went in and testified. And I mean, we've done research. We are very knowledgeable. This isn't just saying we don't like our rates anymore.
No, I know that this was in your plan that you had before the legislature before.
Well, the thing, yeah, right, and we had bills, but to be honest with you, this is the process. In regards to what I'm asking, which is to press the commissioner, press the Attorney General to make it mandated, as it is in our statutes, to implement the same standards to the private insurance companies. We don't need a bill. A bill sits up at the State House for 10 years. We don't need a new bill. We have the laws existing. This is what is so darn concerning to me. Our consumers have to realize that when the insurance industry cries out that they are hurting and going under. I just printed out a 2013 Profits for Property Casualty Insurers article from the Consumer Federation of America by Robert Hunter, just from April of this year. He said property casualty insurers skyrocket their profits to $64 billion. He quotes, the data, he states, and I quote, the data makes it indisputably clear that insurance companies are overcharging their customers in order to rake in huge profits. This is the truth, and what happens is the industry will cry out that if they have to supply in rate filings details that prove that the data they're looking for in that rate that justifies it is correct, that they're going to have to raise rates. They aren't. They have to take it out of their piggy banks. I'm telling you, they're making money hand over fist. I hope that the citizens will take action, write to the Attorney General in Massachusetts. I believe this station might have the address on there. Glenn Kaplan is the person to send to the AG's office and then to the Commissioner of Insurance a letter mandating that he implement and do the duty of his job to protect the consumers.
And what's his name? What's the Commissioner of
This
Insurance
commissioner
name?
is Joseph Murphy.
Joe Murphy? Okay.
Yes, and we definitely, it said in this article in general about homeowner insurance, it says that the earned premiums in 2013 were the largest in history, $478 billion.
Now that's nationwide?
Nationwide, which, by the way, in a rate filing, the commissioner not only looks at the state for losses of the FAIR Plan, the private insurers. The commissioner under statute must consider, now this is why I think I have a foot up on this whole thing. In 2004, there was legislation passed in Massachusetts which then allowed our rates to go up 25% by the FAIR Plan. It says that the commissioner in a rate filing of any insurance company in homeowners must consider the losses that happen from both FAIR Plan and voluntary market, and also the predicted hurricane losses from the modeling companies, and also the reinsurance. Well, how the heck, if you're not implementing the same standards that came out in this filing that showed the lack of proof in these models, how can the commissioner say that he's doing that? Because the modeling companies, whether it's one company, there's about 4 major companies, they all have similar situation. They have not customized their model in the area of Massachusetts experience. They do a good job for Florida. I don't fault them on that, but but they need to add studies about Massachusetts and about our history. And we have not had a hurricane that has been over a Category 2. For years, in the rate filings, they've been using the Hurricane of 38.
Yes.
Okay, which was a very
unprepared.
Yeah, and it was a lot of loss, huge storm surge, which isn't covered in our homeowner policy. For years, this was called a Category 3 hurricane, and the insurers used this to prove at length why their rates had to be high. The HERDAT database, which is a national group that organizes history of hurricanes, and it's studied by scientists. And with new technology, these hurricanes in the past have been reevaluated to see how accurate they are using new science. And last year they came out, or maybe the year before, they came out that the Hurricane of 38 in Massachusetts was downgraded to a Category 2 hurricane.
Really?
And the Hurricane of 1944, which apparently was also considered a expensive high category hurricane, was downgraded from a Category 2 to a Category 1. The modeling companies in this filing said that their model they used did not include that downgrade. So they're putting our houses and looking at the losses that could happen from categories of storm that don't even exist in our historic past. They qualify Category 5 hurricanes in Massachusetts and Category 4. This is wrong. The commissioner did a fine job. The Division of Insurance did a fine job on this decision for the FAIR Plan, denying that rate hike, but they aren't done. And I don't understand why they are not implementing the same standards that are described so thoroughly in this to all homeowner insurance in Massachusetts rate filings. Please help.
Very good. Well,
there
you have it. So be sure that you write to the Commissioner of Insurance, Joe Murphy. Ed Kaplan, is that
and
Ed Kaplan?
Glenn Kaplan with a K.
Glenn Kaplan
at the Attorney General's office.
And tell them that you listen to a discussion by Paula Aschettino.
One addition, please. If you have not joined my organization, Citizens for Homeowners Insurance Reform, I need you to sign on my website. The website's being redone, but it's up and operating, and we have thousands of people. But when I need work to be done by you, I need to be able to reach you with an email. I try not to send emails out unless there's an action or something important. Please go to my website, www.homeownersinsurancereform.com. Join on. There's no cost. Your emails are protected. We don't use them for anything. But I need everybody, and we need to grow our group and grow our voice. And we don't need another bill right now. We just need the commissioner to do the duty that he has under statutes. And Paul does a fine job for us, and I appreciate this.
You're welcome. But so we just want to get everybody to, in your letter, make sure that you say you don't need another bill. Mm-hmm. That it's already in existing law. Mm-hmm. And they should make regular insurance companies, not the FAIR Plan, follow the same rules that have been assigned to the FAIR Plan because they're fair. And that's about it, what you have to say.
Yep, and thank you very much.
There you go.